Welcome to the Dear Bride podcast. We're so grateful you're here. We're your hosts. I'm Janelle Brooke.
And I'm Terry Alfieri. We're wedding photographers, best friends, and the founders of Janelle Brooke Photography. With over a decade of experience, we have a lot to share and can't wait to delve into all things wedding with you.
We hope to build an amazing community of women. So let's connect, let's vent, breathe, and empower one another. Dear Bride, you got this.
Welcome to the Dear Bride podcast. So if you are a couple that is planning your wedding for the spring of 2020 and you thought you weren't stressed out before, welcome the coronavirus. This is so crazy. And this is something that I feel like a curveball that no one could have expected. This is something that's real and relative for everyone, but especially in the event industry. And I think it's really important for us to actually address this right now, because I know that there are so many couples out there who are silently mourning their wedding. And Samantha and Alex, I am just so grateful that you are here and that you are strong enough to come onto the podcast today and talk to me about what you're going through.
Our pleasure.
Thank you, Janelle.
So I just want to give a little bit of background here before we just totally delve into your story and what has taken place in the last week, as things have been changing very rapidly here. So for any of you who don't know, my name is Janelle Brooke, and I am a New York wedding photographer. I have a small boutique company here on Long Island. And this week has been pretty crazy, pretty unprecedented to say the least. We are working with a lot of couples, and Samantha and Alex are among them, couples who need to change their weddings and event dates because of the coronavirus. So again, I have always felt that the need for community amongst people planning their weddings is something so huge. And right now, I feel like we need it more than ever. So again, I just want to delve right into this, and please, let's start by just sharing your story and just give us some ideas here about what you were planning for your wedding.
Okay, so Alex and I got engaged December of 2018. Really romantic, perfect engagement, could not ask for more. And we booked a venue in around March of 2019. We were looking for something far enough away from home. We live in Manhattan. We wanted something far enough away that we would feel like we were really getting like an away weekend kind of experience with our wedding, but not something so far that it would be a complete imposition on our guests. So we settled on Saratoga Springs, which is like the most beautiful, quaint. It just immediately felt perfect. Like it was exactly like what we wanted.
Right. We had no attachment to it whatsoever. Neither of us had ever been there before, but something about, once we got there, we saw the venue, we saw the town. It just, something about it felt right.
It was just so magical. It almost felt like home, kind of, in a way. Yeah. Just really, really charming. So we booked venue. We scheduled our date, May 2nd, 2020. Got all of our vendors on board. Yeah. And we've just been in planning mode ever since. But obviously things have changed a little bit. And so we're now kind of grappling with the reality of this on a really macro level, but then also sort of contained to our own personal life and what this means going forward for our wedding.
Yeah. So, wow. I mean, obviously you guys know how much I adore you, and I have been on a journey with you, and my heart goes out to you because this is a big deal. So how exactly would you describe what's happening right now in terms of the coronavirus and your wedding. What has happened as a result of this pandemic?
So, I mean, I think like any couple that's planning a wedding, you have so many things going on. This, when the news first hit, it was just another, checklist item. Like, yeah, maybe we should think about like we have to make a contingency plan, or what would we do? And this was February. The wedding's in May, so we're like, all right, we have a couple of months.
Yeah.
Our thought for the longest time was, if we're really still worrying about this in mid to late April into May, like, we're gonna have bigger problems in the world than our wedding.
And lo and behold, we do.
So, I mean, even up until last weekend, life was still somewhat normal. People were starting to self, companies were starting on their own to take it upon themselves to do work from home. I started working from home. Sam was still going to work. And we thought we were okay until late last Sunday, when the CDC said, for 8 weeks, no gatherings of 50 people or more. And of course, our wedding was 7 weeks at the time. And so that was sort of the groundbreaking moment that we're like, all right, it's not a contingency plan anymore. It's the plan.
Right. I feel like it kept crawling closer and closer to home, and it was becoming more of a reality. But I think it was really on Sunday night that we were both like, okay, it's time to really like get in gear and figure out what we're going to do with this.
We had obviously everything planned and aligned to May 2nd. So you almost have this like inertia bias that it's like, all right, that's our date. We're sticking to it. Yeah. Everybody's coming. Everybody knows we've got
our invites are out. We're getting RSVPs.
Half of our RSVPs back. We've got, we're down to like the really small little things on our checklist. And it's like, all right, no, we've been planning for a year and a half for this. Like, this is go time. And so we didn't want it to be true, but sort of it was almost easier that the decision was kind of made for us. That, it wasn't a shade of gray anymore. We were inside the 8 weeks. So it was like, all right, we have to now.
Right. It was almost an easier decision because of our date. But I think for people who, I mean, look, everything's changing by every hour at this point now, but had our date been the end of May, maybe even June, I don't know, there would have been a lot more discussion, I think, and a lot more searching to kind of figure out what to do. So in a way, I am grateful that those CDC guidelines got set down, because Alex and I were just like, you know what, let's go. Like, we put everything aside and we were like, this is the decision we're going to make. We're going to postpone it. Like, let's get everyone on board and go from there. It was a really difficult decision emotionally. Obviously, we've invested so much time, so much money into this event. But logically, I mean, it was a no-brainer, and I'm coming to realize now, emotionally too, it was difficult at first, but it's also sort of a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, even if the guidance didn't come out, the question we were sort of grappling with is, togetherness and the love and the warmth in the room is so important. Do we want to be at a wedding where people are elbow bumping instead of hugging?
Yeah.
And nobody wants to, get too close to us because they're scared of, getting the bride and groom sick, and like my grandmothers, and it was easier for us to know that it was a hard deadline.
Yeah.
I hear you. It's crazy. And I mean, just to recap, I mean, like, what we heard like 5 days ago, 3 days ago, it's not the same as it is today. And that's a really big deal. I mean, I remember, and this is not wedding related, but I remember sitting in my living room just waiting by my computer for the email from the school district superintendent. I have 2 daughters and that are in school, and I was just waiting to see what was happening with the school closures. And it was like all over the place. I mean, some districts were closed for a week, some weren't closed at all, some were closed for a day. And finally, Governor Cuomo just stepped in and said, nope, all the schools in New York State are closed until April 1st. And that was probably for me, like, the realization of, wow, this is serious. And then obviously everything followed. So you're right, Alex. First it was like, I think it was 500 people, and then it kept going down, and now all restaurants are closed unless They're doing takeout or delivery, all gyms, museums, movie theaters. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I got emails from just, Old Navy and Bed Bath and Beyond and, all these stores saying that, what their new hours are, or if at all. And it's crazy. And I'm thankful that the government is stepping in, and at least they're suspending mortgage payments. I know they're suspending any debt related to New York State right now. And we're just being told to do everything we can to flatten the curve and prevent the spread of the virus. So it's kind of like an episode of The Twilight Zone. It really is. And I think that there are so many people that are in your shoes right now, couples who are planning, these beautiful weddings for the spring of 2020 with dreams of cherry blossoms that I've already seen blooming around here, which is very uplifting and nice to see. That spring is here, but we can't enjoy it with our friends and family that we don't live with right now. So it's upsetting. So are you guys doing okay? Like, how are you handling this? How are your friends and family handling this? Were they supportive? Were they like trying to send good vibes your way? Was anyone just bawling their eyes out? Like, what's happening over there?
Yes.
Besides us, I don't know.
Yes. Everyone involved has definitely done a little bit of crying.
Yeah.
Myself included. No shame.
Yeah,
no shame.
totally.
Yeah.
It was hard. I compared it to like, totally different level. And obviously there's so many more important things going on in the world, but it felt like somebody died. Like we were grieving for a while.
Yeah, it's a loss.
It's just
totally is. You're right.
Draining and exhausting. And like in the moment you have so many decisions to make and so many trade-offs you're weighing. And it was definitely, by the time the news came out, it became a little frantic for us to try and coordinate with all of our vendors and coordinate with our friends and our bridal party and our family. And so by the end of that day that, we actually agreed and decided to postpone it, we were just so emotionally and
it was
physically
draining.
Exhausted.
Our friends, our family, like I feel like probably since Sunday night when the CDC guidelines started to come out, like people were so incredible about rallying behind us, like checking in on us at all hours of the day. I mean, I had been talking about it with my parents prior to the CDC guidelines coming out. And it's a party that means so much to so many different people. And there are so many different people involved, but we're just so lucky that everyone we love has come back at us with even more love, to really hold us up in this time.
I mean, I feel like when you're planning a wedding, your own wedding at least, you get in such like a bubble of your stuff and your priorities. And quite honestly, I didn't even think about, how or expect support necessarily in that way. But I was so floored at how overwhelming the support from our friends and family were about, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Like everybody's going to show up 10 times more for your new date. Whatever you guys want, whatever you guys need, we're there. Don't worry if hotels cost more money, if we have to stay in different hotels, like nothing else matters. We'll be there for you guys. And that's it.
Well, just it puts things in perspective. I mean, our florist, the first time I ever spoke with her named Sam Nass, she's really, really sweet. She told me, you're planning a party. It's not, if you reframe things and think of it as you're planning a party rather than you're planning a wedding, it'll really kind of shift your perception. And so we've gone into this really holding tight to that we're planning a party. But with that party comes all of the friendships and all of the relationships that have kind of helped our relationship grow. So throwing the party was almost just as much for family and friends as it was for the two of us.
Right.
We just wanted to be surrounded by all of that love. And obviously a global pandemic certainly puts things in perspective. I mean, the only thing that matters now is to feel that love and to give it back to the people who are giving it to us.
And I think that that's a good lens for other people, other couples looking for advice is, if that's important to you,
Yeah.
Think of it in that way about throwing a party and sort of try to put your own sort of selfish priorities about, hey, this is our date. This is what we want to do. We're doing it the way we envisioned it. And think about, your guests and the experience you want to have, not just, checking the box that we're doing it on the day that we plan.
Yeah.
Even if rescheduling is a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah. We had such frantic text messages going with our bridal parties as we were replanning because it's so important to us that we have all of our friends and all of our family there on the day of. So it was important to us. That was like probably our number one priority, making sure we could have everyone who we wanted standing beside us to be there on that next date. So we did a little coordinating around our bridal party for sure. And I'm so happy we did.
You have a new date planned.
We do.
We do. I hope.
October 18th, 2020, baby. So we're still in the 2020 club for now.
October is a great month. October is my favorite month. It's my wedding anniversary. I got married on October 14th, and it was beautiful. It was such a beautiful day. And I feel like, I don't know. I mean, obviously no one has a crystal ball with, Mother Nature and what the weather will be like on, any particular day. But October is such a beautiful month to get married. And obviously I am so excited for you guys, and I'm excited to be there with you.
I'm so happy.
It's been a journey, guys. It's definitely been a journey. So obviously, I mean, you've been planning your wedding so far out between well, we know you have photography covered.
Yes, thank God.
Photography, video, music, entertainment, the food, invitations. I mean, even even your wedding gown. I mean, this could take a long time to come in. Like, how were all of your vendors like in regards to rescheduling this new date?
We've been really lucky.
We got really lucky. Everybody was helpful. I got to give, I think, the most credit to our wedding planners.
Yeah, KDO events. They are incredible.
We found out about the CDC guidance Sunday night. By Monday, they had helped us coordinate a call with our venue and our caterer. As soon as we had that call, we found out all the available dates that the venue had for the rest of the year. Within literally 20 minutes, KDO and Casey had a spreadsheet for us of all of our vendors and all of the dates, and they'd already made all the phone calls to cross-reference and figure out who was available on what dates.
It was incredible.
Within 20 minutes, we knew who of our vendors could sort of lift and shift our weekend to that date and who couldn't. So then, as Sam said, we went, frantically texting and calling all of our family and our bridal party, and we picked October 25th.
Yes.
And it was great, and everybody could do it. All of our vendors could do it. And by the time, half an hour later that we called the venue, somebody had already taken that date.
Oh my God, we went insane. I think we cursed at the woman on the other. It was terrible. It was so bad. Gosh. It was terrible.
So, I mean, you can imagine, we're already frantic thinking okay, we've got to get our wedding rescheduled. And then it's okay, is there going to be a run on dates like there's a run on toilet paper right now?
Oh my God.
Gosh.
Then, repeating the same flash, we called everybody. October 18th was the next best date. And there were two vendors that were iffy on that date. And we're okay, it's, at this point we're making sacrifices.
Yeah.
And luckily everybody could do it. We called the venue back. We locked in October 18th, and this is all in the span of maybe an hour.
It was so hectic.
It was crazy.
We done. I don't know how we could have done what Katie and Casey did. It would have taken us hours to figure it out. And I just couldn't believe all of the work that they put into it. I mean, they came into our phone conference totally prepared.
Right. Calm, cool, collected, the opposite of where we were.
Yeah, we would have completely crumbled without them that day. It was absolutely people being good at their job. There's a reason that you hire a wedding planner. This was they went above and beyond for us, and we were so grateful.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, all of the vendors that didn't know if they could make it work on that day, everyone figured out a way. You know, our florist wasn't sure if she could do it. She worked it out. She's gonna show up for us on October 18th. Our videographer, Kenny Cooper, also super sweet guy, called us, told us he'd figure out a way to make it work. So it's basically the same vision we had for May 2nd, just
on a Sunday in October instead of a Saturday.
Shifted over 5 months.
Okay. It's going to be awesome. I know it's going to be awesome. And, you know, this is, again, this is really crazy times. And I know that a lot of couples that are in your shoes right now are just riding out this storm, but it's okay. It's okay because you're still marrying your person, right? I mean, that's your person.
My person.
It doesn't matter. It's all going to happen. And I feel like it's definitely going to be a story to tell the kids and tell the grandkids. And it's going to be awesome. So, and I'm very excited to be with you guys as well.
That time the global pandemic changed our wedding plans.
Yeah. I mean, it really puts things in perspective.
It does, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it really does. And it's funny because I mean, I know that there's so many people that have multiple anniversaries. Like sometimes, you know, couples will celebrate the day that they met or their first date. Obviously their wedding. But you know, there are a lot of couples that do this. So I'm curious, May 2nd, what do you think you guys are going to do?
Well, it's a day that we're going to celebrate no matter what. I have a note section in my phone that has like the date of our first kiss, the first day Alex told me he loved me. So May 2nd will just be added to that list of important dates.
Okay.
It's sort of a question mark right now. We would like to honor that date and have some kind of civil ceremony if we can on that date. Pandemic is possibly throwing a wrench in the plans.
Okay.
We haven't gotten our marriage license yet. And I'm not sure. I don't think we can at this time.
At least in Manhattan, the county clerk's office is closed. So I thought about maybe going to a different county or a different state. We're celebrating either way.
Yes.
Right. If we're stuck inside, if we're video chatting with all of our friends and family.
Yeah.
We're celebrating no matter what.
Yes.
So hopefully we can be outside in groups of 10 or more maybe, but May 2nd is important.
Alex, we can only hope.
We'll see. I mean, there's really, we're really just trying to kind of roll with the punches at this point. I mean, we're all seeing.
I mean, hey, we've got our yarmulkes and our ketubah already say May 2nd on it. So sort of recouping some of the sunk costs there if we keep May 2nd as a real date. So I think either way, you know, it's going to be a joke or, you know, at the very least, a hallmark of our wedding day forever that we've got two of them now.
Yes.
So twice the celebration.
Yes.
I love it.
Twice as lucky.
I just love all your positivity because I think that that's what people need right now. There's a lot of things that are, you know, going on here, you know, in my neighborhood, like people are putting rainbows outside their houses. I don't know if you've heard about this or not, but like kids are like walking, like, I don't know, up and down streets to get some fresh air and like searching for rainbows. So people are like putting rainbows, using sidewalk chalk or hanging a rainbow picture in their window. So that's a big thing. It's, you know, people need hope and, you know, and lots of positivity. So I'm really just glad to see that you guys are, you know, on that bandwagon.
So. Listen, it wasn't like that all week. The beginning of the week was tough and dark and sad, but I think once we had a new plan in place, that's when we started feeling better.
There's so much uncertainty right now. I mean, no matter what we do, we're still facing some kind of uncertainty, and the only thing we can really control is our attitude toward it and how we tackle it. And I'd rather be positive and feeling hopeful than the alternative. What else can we do?
I agree. I think that your mindset is the one thing that you can control. And obviously, your actions and how you respond. And I think that that is something that is really important to remember, that we can actually control our own thoughts. I mean, like what a like what a concept.
For the record, I'm never like this. Actually, it just took a global pandemic to kind of set me down on earth, but I'm seeing it's so true. This is what we can control.
Yeah.
We can't control how much toilet paper is out there right now. I can't control whether the person on the opposite side of the street comes back positive for coronavirus. I can only control myself and my thoughts and how I'm dealing with it, and how Alex and I are living in the midst of all of this. And the same goes for everyone else out there. I mean, we're just trying to hold tight to each other and virtually to the people we love, and that has to be enough for right now, because it's all we got.
Yep.
Sending you love.
Yeah.
Video chats.
A lot of video chats.
Yes, a lot. And that's okay, because Skype is an amazing tool. Google Hangouts. My daughter's using FaceTime and Messenger and all this to connect with her friends. And it's, it's incredibly helpful. So while, I have a love-hate relationship with technology, right now it's pretty awesome, because I've never done a podcast episode remotely before. And yet here we are, and we're doing the right thing. We're staying in our homes. We're just with the people that we love, that we live with. And it's almost just forcing everybody to reconnect. And I think it's awesome. I mean, I love my family when I don't want to kill them. I love them. But it's, I don't know, it's a new world for as many weeks as we need it to be. So is there anything else that you guys want to say? Any advice that you have for future couples, or anything that you want to throw out there to people that are listening, that are walking the same path as you right now?
I definitely think for a while in a pre-COVID-19 world, Alex and I did sort of feel like we kind of felt like we were at the mercy of everyone else in planning our wedding. We kind of felt like a lot of the wedding process depended on what our vendors said we could and couldn't do. And we're now realizing that's so not true. We've had such incredible experiences with vendors reaching out and really understanding the difficult decisions that we have to make, because you all do too. And I think going into, if you're thinking of postponing or whatever your plan might be, you really have to approach your vendors as human beings, because we've seen so much grace and compassion from the people who have been helping us, set the party in place. And it's really, really heartwarming.
Yeah. I think my advice would be, I guess, based on our experience, the most stressful part of all of this was the uncertain time before we made a decision, the first hour after we made the decision, and then once we'd made that call, everything got a lot less stressful.
Yeah.
So I think, it's a really tough time to be decisive and sort of figure out what you need in order to make that decision. But at least for us, we personally felt a lot better after we just made the call and stuck to it.
Yeah, it was a relief.
We were, again, tremendously surprised by how supportive our family and friends were, and how flexible our vendors were, and how actually overall easy it was.
Yeah.
Compared to what we expected. It wasn't easy, but it was a lot easier than we thought it was going to be to plan a second wedding.
And it's so much better than the alternative. Yeah. I mean, I
couldn't imagine being like uncertain for the next 6 weeks about if we're going to be able to have our wedding or if our guests are going to show.
Yeah, I'm so relieved we did it. I just kept picturing Alex and I in the middle of the hora, and had we done this on May 2nd, had we been, allowed to do it on May 2nd, what would our guests be doing? Would they be holding hands? Would they be scared to hold hands? Like, I would never want to foster that kind of environment for the people I love. So, we have the warmest friends and family Alex and I are like super affectionate people, so we need a warm, affectionate, lovey-dovey wedding because that's what we've been planning. So
Yeah.
I guess it made our decision easier.
Yeah, I guess thanks to Dr. Fauci for making our call a lot easier.
Yes. Yeah. And our hearts go out to people in that like in between time right now, because I don't know how you make that decision. It's a huge decision to make. But I think, everyone's health is paramount right now. So
yeah, well, it's a global issue. I mean, this is I again, it's unprecedented times. I mean, the only thing that I could relate it to is war, right? I mean, there are very few times that I mean, and I haven't even lived through them, where literally you could say everyone is going through the same thing at the same time and feeling the repercussions of what's happening with this virus, with the economy. It's definitely scary. But I, again, just commend you guys for your strength and just for all your positivity and, your outlook on the situation. So thank you.
We owe a lot of that to you, Janelle. You've been like a therapist to me as well as a friend since the minute we got in touch. So Alex and I are really, really fortunate to have you on our team.
Made a huge difference.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't do this without you. We couldn't have done May 2nd without you. Certainly can't do October 18th without you. But everything in between too. You've really made a huge impact on our lives, not just on our party, but on our lives.
I love you guys.
Oh, we love you too.
I'm like, I don't know what to say. I love you guys. And, I'm just, I feel very fortunate, that I'm a boutique company and that, scheduling wise, because I don't do hundreds of weddings a year, that I was able to, accommodate basically everyone at this point who's had to move their date where, it aligns with their other vendors. But thank you. And I am, I'm very happy to be your wedding photographer and your friend.
Thank you. Now I'll cry.
And, it's something that, we're going to get through. We're going to get through it together. Things are going to get back to normal. We just have to have faith and, continue to just do the right thing and, abide by the CDC's guidelines. This is not something that's just affecting the elderly. They are seeing that this is actually affecting young people. I think it's like 54% right now of cases in New York City that are affecting people in the ages of 18 to 50. It's pretty crazy. So all I can say is that it's a pandemic, and it's kind of like trying to stay dry in a hurricane. It's not something that I think any of us can sit here and really say, like, we know what we're doing. But, I feel like if we stand together and we have community, we are stronger for it. And that's probably the biggest reason why I started this podcast, because I wanted people to have community. It is not easy to navigate wedding planning and relationships and everything that comes together during this time, let alone during a pandemic. I mean, honestly. So I'm actually going to be opening our Dear Bride Facebook page. So I'm going to be sharing our call today and obviously some notes about things that are going on with you guys and some updates. And I definitely encourage you to get on there as well. So if you are a couple that is walking through this, just know that you're not alone and that there is a community that's here for you. So that's all I got.
You're doing such good work. I mean, people need this right now.
Oh, yeah.
So you're giving everyone a really safe space and a sounding board for sure. So
I wish we could talk to ourselves a week ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope this helps somebody out there.
Yeah. You're doing a beautiful thing. So thank you for that.
And so are you. And I think you guys are amazing. And we'll stay in touch.
Yes, we'll be on our couch if you need us.
Sounds good. You have lots of wine over there, hopefully.
We're good. We're good. We got each other. We're good.
We don't have paper towels, but we got wine.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. Well, stay healthy, stay safe, and thank you so much for sharing your story, guys.
Thank you, Janelle.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. I hope you learned something that will help you on your wedding planning journey. Please check out our website at www.dearbridepodcast.com for photos and a full recap of today's show. You can also connect with us on social media at Dear Bride Podcast. And for more episodes, please be sure to subscribe on iTunes. And your reviews and cheerleading skills are so appreciated and will only help us to deliver content that you want to hear. Until next time, ladies, thanks for listening and thank you for your support.